Hello to everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's script workout, our every other Monday role play webinar where you will actually have the opportunity in just a few moments to jump in and practice some scripting with me and with other agents that are on the call today. Thanks for taking time out of your day and kind of signing up to throw yourself all in and learn a little bit with me. My name is Cayla, and I'm a trainer and community engagement specialist here at CINC, working on our training and community team. So you may have seen me on other webinars or seen me at CINC University or our brand new CINC to You, where we're actually going out and traveling all across the country. I will give you a link at the end of today's training where you can see other opportunities to get in front of me and other CINC trainers so we can make sure that everyone is having the most successful 2019 possible. Again, thanks for joining me, but let's go ahead and jump in and talk about today's webinar specifically. So today we're going to talk scripting. So I'm going to come to you in just a moment and ask kind of where you feel like you can improve your opportunities for improvement. Maybe if you don't think you have a killer opening line, I have some help for you there today. After we kind of talk through some objections that you guys are maybe experiencing that you're not quite sure how to handle and talk about that opening line, then we will open it up for role play. It is not required that you jump in and role play, but I will say that those agents that role play regularly are those that set more appointments. And we see that time and time again at our conversion day training, which again, I'll let you know more about at the end of the call. Putting yourself out there, knowing that this is a safe space to try out this new opening line, try out some new objection handling techniques, and really just kind of say, if I fail, I tried. That's how we learn. But of course, you may absolutely knock it out of the park, and that is awesome too. So let's go ahead and open up the chat and the Q&A section of the Zoom toolbar. If you've never used Zoom before, if you'll just wiggle your mouse, you'll see your Zoom toolbar, and you'll see a chat and a Q&A option. Click on either one of those, and just let me know really quickly by putting a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 1 in the chat if you would like to role play a little later in the call, and put a number 2, so just type in a number 2 if you're on the fence a little bit and you're not quite sure if you're going to role play or not. It's okay. I just would like to know who is feeling what. Now, I also would like to know, while we are already in the Zoom and the Q&A section, who has some objections that they feel like they are struggling with handling. So if there's an objection that you maybe haven't ever heard before and you heard it recently and you're like, whoa, that kind of threw me for a loop, I'm not quite sure how to go forward with that. Or maybe it's one that you just keep hearing over and over again and you struggle with it a little bit. I would love to know what those objections are. So as we open up to role play, I'll know what objections to throw at you guys. So it's something that you can actually kind of take away. But it's also so we can talk just really briefly about how you can overcome objections. Now, I hear from agents a lot of times when they get certain objections that they don't want to be aggressive. They don't want to sound argumentative. They don't want to bother the person that they're talking to. So what I really want you to do is kind of open your mind up to shift a little bit. When we talk about objections, I'm not saying that I want you to handle them by being aggressive. I don't want you to argue. What it is simply opening up conversation and in a nice way letting someone know that even though they may feel that X is true, so even though they maybe are not looking to buy a home, they're just looking at homes online, like Jason just sent in, so thank you, Jason. We're not going to argue with them that they have to be looking to buy or that they're wrong. What we're going to do is actually just handle that objection by being nice and letting them know that it's okay to look, but kind of continuing that conversation. And so what we find is that agents that are kind and nice and honest with their leads, again, not arguing and not being aggressive, but just being honest, are the ones that set more appointments. So we got some awesome objections in here. Jason said I just shared. Also Shane saying that people are kind of ghosting recently. Another objection from Marion is that all I wanted to do was look at houses and you forced me to put my information in. If I see something I like, I'll let you know. Those are all objections that I hear a lot as well. If you have something else that you also are getting recently that you want to kind of talk through on today's call, please put it through in that chat and Q&A section. Other ones that I often hear, and please, send me a quick yes if you have heard any of these. If you've heard, well, I'm really just looking for my friend, or I want to work with my, sister who's a real estate agent. If you hear any of those or any other ones, please feel free to put that in. Awesome. I've got some great ones coming in. So let's just take these one by one. And then after this, we'll take a look at the opening line and how, when you're saying the right opening line, it can actually prevent a lot of these objections from coming in at all. Sometimes when we use the wrong opening line, we open ourselves up to hidden objections that we don't realize. So hopefully, as we start to learn this opening line and you guys start to put it into play, you'll notice a lot of these objections kind of falling and you're not hearing them as much. But you may still have someone who's really stubborn and they're going to give you an objection either way. So let's talk through some of these and just see how to handle them. So the very first one that I saw was actually from Jason saying he hears, I'm not looking to buy a home. I just like looking at homes online. And this is a pretty common one because we have some people who say that because they truly do just really like to see what's out there. But we also have some people who say that to mean I'm looking until I find the exact right thing that's going to push me out of my current situation. And I will tell you very honestly, so if you've been in training with me, I just like to shoot you straight and be honest. I'm a little bit of that person, and I'll tell you why. My current situation is good and that we had a house in our family that was unoccupied, needed some work to be done, and no one in the family was in the kind of situation or in the time of their life where they could really leave their current situation and move into this house that needed some work. But we knew that it needed to be worked on and inhabited before we could sell it. So I moved in with my husband. We were newly married, and we said, okay, we're going to fix this house up. And the deal with the family is, okay, when we, finish fixing this house up and we sell, as kind of a payback for doing the work and putting some money into it, we'll split that money. Okay, so I have a really sweet situation right now, and that I'm getting to, work on a home and make it exactly what I want, but I know that it's not my forever home, and I'm starting to put the feelers out to see if there's something on the market that really is interesting to me, that's, hitting all of what I'm looking for. But I'm not going to move until I have that perfect home because I don't have a real motivation to get out of my current place. And a lot of your leads may feel that way. They don't have to leave the home that they're in right now, but they could move if they found the right thing, if they found that perfect fit. And their perfect fit's gonna, vary from person to person. Maybe the perfect fit is, the perfect floor plan. Maybe it's being in a right school zone, then a perfect price point for them. It's gonna change because that's so personal to people. And so I tell you all of that to explain that I might say that to someone that called me on the phone. Hey, I'm really not looking to buy right now. I just like looking because I don't have the real motivation to give me a push to get out of my house. I'm not, renting. And so I need to, start making mortgage payments instead of rent payments. I don't have children, so I'm not looking to be in a certain school district at the moment. I don't have that push. So when I hear an objection like that, and so you can hear it, I'm not looking to buy right now, I just like looking at homes, or maybe someone that says purely, I'm just looking right now. We deal with those pretty similarly, but a little different. So I'm not looking to buy right now, I just like looking at homes. Awesome. What do you like about looking at the homes, that are on the market? You're going to find that most of the time when I'm talking about how to deal with objections today, I'm talking about coming back with an open-ended question. So my open-ended question of that would be, oh, that's so fun. It's awesome to look at, all the homes that come on the market. I'm just curious though, why, what is it about like looking at homes that you like? Or, what is it about, looking at homes that just, brings you coming back? Because what we know is that everyone moves. Whether they're going to move tomorrow or a year from now or 2 years from now or more, everyone eventually moves. In fact, the average is that most people move every 5 to 7 years. Why do we move? Because our situation changes, right? Maybe now, in a couple of years, I do have a child and I want to be in a certain school district. That's my push to get me out of my current house. Whatever that situation is, something's going to change for me and I'm going to decide it's time to move. So let's find out why they like looking at houses in the first place. Maybe we find in there that there is a little kind of irk with their current situation. Well, my kitchen's really tiny and I love looking at homes, that are like just move-in ready, that have these big, beautiful kitchens. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm in the same situation. My kitchen's so small. I'm in an older house. I love looking at that. What other things do you like seeing in homes? What we're doing is we're opening up a conversation and we're getting to know them. We're just being friendly and asking them a lot of questions. They may still put up a wall and say, I'm really not looking to move anytime soon. I just like looking. But isn't it better to leave that conversation on a positive note, understanding what they're looking for, so we can follow up with them? Well, hey, I can make sure that you continue to get property alerts, but if there's something in particular that you really like to see, let me put that in a search for you so I can make sure you see, those things that you really enjoy. And then we're staying in touch with that person, and we're probably going to be top of mind if we continue to follow up with them when it comes time for them to make that decision to move, because everyone's situation changes. They lose a job, they get a promotion. Their kids move out of the house, they retire. Whatever it is, we want to be that person that's there top of mind when it comes down to it and they're ready to make a move. On the flip side, someone that says they're just looking, that's not surprising to me either. When someone says, I'm just looking, well, all that means is I haven't found what I'm looking for quite yet. Or I'm at the very beginning of the home search and I'm really just kind of putting feelers out to see what's out there. So I answer that the same way. Oh, that's exactly what the site's for. Please continue to use it. Wondering though, what exactly are you looking for? Or, okay, do you really see your next house being a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom? That's a little bit different than that open-ended question of asking why or how, but it's still a question where they have to give us an answer. It's not, okay, well, are you going to move sometime in the next year, where they can say no. It's saying, okay, do you see that house being 3 bedrooms or 4? They may say, yeah, 4. Awesome. Why 4 bedrooms? They may say, well, actually just 2 bedrooms. It's just me and my husband and we're downsizing. Oh, awesome. What's your current place look like? And we keep that conversation going. One thing you'll learn really quickly about me is that I don't believe in scripts. I believe in a solid opening line, which we'll look at next after these objections, and I believe in good conversation skills. So that is keeping the conversation moving by being interested in what they have to say and being kind and just being honest with them. Again, not trying to, sell them something when they're not ready, but being honest and saying, I'm just curious in what it is that you're looking for. So another objection that I see here was, all I wanted was to look at houses and you forced me to put my information in. The reason I think that is a funny objection when I hear it from people is that no one forced anyone to put their information in. As we know, there are plenty of sites where they can go and see homes without putting their information in. The Zillows of the world, where they can go and see something without registering. But something made them want to see that house so badly that they provided their information, and they didn't even go a step further like some people do and put in fake information. They put their real information. So at that point, I want to humanize myself, right? They feel like they were forced to put their information in and they didn't know that someone was going to give them a call. So if I hear that, all I wanted to do was look at houses and you forced me to put my information in, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I actually just love to follow up with people and see what they thought about the site and see if they found any homes that they were really interested in. So how's your experience been with my website? And they may say, well, it's bad because I had to put my information in. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm actually honestly really glad it got me in touch with you because I'd love to hear exactly what it is that you're looking for in a home. Again, it's okay to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I know, I just really love to follow up and have a conversation about how I could help you and what you're looking for. If they still, are really, just not being nice about it, it's okay to, go ahead and say, well, if you'd like to continue to get property alerts, I'd love to make sure that your search is accurate. If you have a moment to share what you're looking for with me, I'm, free to talk right now. And we just kind of put the ball in their court that way. I think killing them with kindness in that situation is best. Now, Marian also shared another one here in the Q&A section. If I see something I like, I will let you know. Awesome. Well, we have to know what they like so we can make sure that they see more of that. So if someone says, well, if I see something I like, I'll let you know. Awesome. Let's have a quick conversation then about exactly what you're looking for. Are you only interested in Atlanta, or are you open to other neighborhoods? That's another great transition question. If you see that they're looking at homes in Atlanta, and I'm just using Atlanta because I'm here in that area. So if you see they're looking at homes in Atlanta, what are some other neighborhoods people often look in? Oh, are you only interested in Atlanta, or are you open to other neighborhoods as well? Or, oh, perfect, I'd love for you to let me know when you see something you like. Let's make sure I understand exactly what you're looking for so you get those homes and those emails I'm gonna be sending you. So are you looking for a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom house? So we're gonna get them conversation going again by asking them those open-ended questions. And again, just being honest, I want to make sure you see exactly what you're looking for. So let's have a quick conversation about that. Thank you guys so much for sending in these awesome objections that you're hearing. So Jason sent in another one. I just saw a for sale sign on a home in my neighborhood, just looked it up as I was curious. So this one's interesting to me. So if they just looked this house up because they were curious, oh, that's so awesome. What about that home did you like as you drove by? Again, just asking a quick question. So if they're just curious, they were curious enough to give a call or respond to your text responder or whatever it may be. So, oh, that's awesome. That house is so impressive from the street. What about it, really piqued your interest? And then again, we just ask that open-ended question. So they're going to come back and say, oh, well, maybe it's in, this neighborhood that I really like. Oh, that's great. That's a beautiful neighborhood. What about it do you like? And we just ask those open-ended questions. It's all about pretending that this person is your friend and you are just trying to have a conversation where we can be a good friend and advisor to them. I wouldn't say anything to a lead that you wouldn't say to a friend. I like to call that the best friend rule. I'm going to treat this person as if they're my friend, not being pushy, not being aggressive, and not saying things that are untrue. I'm just going to be honest, but I'm going to be friendly, and I'm going to answer their questions. Knowing that most people enter the kind of home buying and selling process confused as to what that process is, I want to be the person that helps ease that pain for them. So again, oh, just saw that, sign up in the neighborhood. I wanted to see, what it was listed at. We can go ahead and answer that question for them, but then always follow up with an open-ended question. So Kelsey put in, and hi Kelsey, nice to see you on the webinar after seeing you in California. I didn't put my information in. This is a difficult one because we know that we got somebody's information. So somebody registered either with fake information that actually got you to a real person, or they actually put their information in and they're just kind of not, wanting to talk at the moment. So I think this is one that the good opening line that we'll share in just a moment kind of gets rid of. But if you still have someone that says, I didn't put my information in, I like to kind of just reintroduce myself. Oh, I'm so sorry. My name's Cayla. I'm a real estate agent in the Atlanta area. Got this phone number on my site for someone looking at homes in Atlanta. So I was following up. Sometimes when they just hear, oh, I was just following up, it kind of takes that down a little bit. It takes that objection away because now they're like, okay, this isn't a telemarketer. This isn't, someone trying to sell me something right now. It's just someone following up. So you can ask another question too, just following up to see, you know, if you were looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or if you were just really looking to see what's out there right now. Again, that's one of those where I think just being kind kind of takes that sting away. And I just, you know, again, like to kind of have that little, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, I was following up. I'm an agent in the Atlanta area. To me, again, how would you deal with that with someone that you were friendly with? You wouldn't say, well, I do see your information right here, and that's how I got you on the phone. We're not going to be combative. It's just being nice and kind of bridging that gap to kind of get past that objection and get to that open-ended question. Now, Laura also sent some objections in here to alias names. So they don't type their own name or even address. When called, they are surprised when we call them by the name they gave. So Laura, I'm going to free you of having to use the lead's name. I don't like to use the lead's name when I give them a call for exactly this reason. So they're surprised when we call them by the name they gave. I don't like to use a name at all because, again, that opens us up to that type of objection. So when we get to our opening line in just a moment, you're going to see there is no name except for ours. We introduce ourselves and we go right into our open-ended question. Now, for someone that uses an alias name, again, that's just another reason why I don't like to use it. You may get to the end of the conversation with someone that put in the name Mickey Mouse, and come to find out they're a real person who's looking for a house. It's one of the things that it's more frustrating about working internet leads is that you're going to have someone that gives us fake information or actually, you know, puts in incorrect information. That's why I like to just forget it. And if I have a great conversation with them at the end of the call, I'm gonna go ahead and open up and say, you know, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't catch your name. Or, you know, could you share your email address with me so I can send you some homes that really match what we've been talking about? It's okay to have that conversation and not know the person's name. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, free you of having to worry about that, Laura. You don't need to worry about it anymore because we're not going to use the person's name until we have to. Let's see what else we have. So here's a good one from Matthew. So a laugh and, oh, that was my daughter. She's always playing around. Now, if you're someone like me that doesn't have kids, I don't have a quick way to relate to that. If you do have a kid, awesome. We can go ahead and say, oh my gosh, you know, my kids are always into something like that too. It's so funny to see what they look for. We're humanizing ourselves again. If you're like me and you don't have kids, I might relate it to my nephew. Oh my gosh, my nephew's in high school now, and he used to do that kind of stuff all the time. It's so funny to me to see what it is that he looks for. And so that person's probably going to have another laugh. Haha, yeah, my daughter, she's crazy like that. Be like, you know, okay, well, while I've got you, I'm curious if you've considered moving in the next year, or if you're kind of waiting, you know, for something else to happen before you might move. So we just kind of, again, deal with that, because if we have someone on the phone, we want to ask, is there an opportunity to work together or no? You can even say, okay, well, while I've got you, you know, are you looking to buy or sell something in the next year? Or maybe do you know someone who is? And we can ask for a quick referral. If you're nice about it and kind and kind of laugh it off, that will, again, kind of get you through and kind of over that hump of it feeling awkward, where you have to say like, oh, well, never mind. Thanks for your time. Let's go ahead and just try, right? There's no harm in asking. Because when we ask that question, it may be, oh, well, we're kind of thinking about, you know, seeing what our house is worth. There's always a chance. That one's difficult because if they're saying, oh, that was my daughter, she's always playing around, it's hard to come back from that because you don't want to say, well, she put her information in and I paid for it, so we're going to have a conversation. So again, I just like, oh my gosh, my nephew used to do that all the time. He's in high school now and he's, you know, not really doing it as much, but it was crazy when he did. And then you can even make a joke out of it. Well, I'm really glad that she found my site because, you know, I'd love to talk to see if you're, you know, thinking about doing anything with your home. That one's difficult, but again, just be kind and friendly and kind of laugh it off, humanize yourself. Again, have that best friend conversation and see where it'll take you. So Bennett just chatted in, I'm looking for a friend or a family member. I love this one. Oh my gosh, that's so nice of you to do. You know, if it's a friend, how long have you guys known each other? So they might say, oh, we've been friends since we were kids. Oh my gosh, that's so great. I love it when we can keep people in our lives like that. So how did you end up being the one to help them look for a house? So we're just feeling out the relationship, and we're feeling out their, kind of friendship. We're feeling out, trying to get to the point of, well, let's see what exactly that friend is looking for. So they may say, oh, well, they're moving to the area. They're not really sure what's, available. So I was kind of just helping to do some research. Oh, okay, so they're moving into the area for the first time then. We're just repeating to make sure we're on the same page. Yep, she's currently in, Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota, that's a long move. What's bringing her down here to Atlanta? Again, relate it to your area. If they're moving from cold to hot or hot to cold, whatever it may be, just kind of ask why. Oh, well, she doesn't have any family up there anymore, so she's coming down here, because she's got me and our other group of friends here. Oh, that's so great that you guys are going to be able to kind of form your own little family down here. Well, do you know what she's looking for in a house down here in Atlanta? Or what kind of house is she looking for down here in Atlanta? And we're just having those conversations. To me, that is an objection that I like dealing with, because if you can make a good impression on that friend or family member, what are they going to do but go back to that person and say, hey, I actually talked to this really great agent who's going to send me some homes that match what you're looking for. And if you're free this afternoon, I said they could give you a call. So as the nicer we are to that friend or family member, the easier it is to have access to that person, and go ahead and let them know, hey, I can go ahead and set up a search for your aunt, that you're helping search for, and put both of your email addresses on the account. So you guys both get all the homes that are available, with exactly what you specified. How's that sound? That's another great kind of transition question. How's that sound? Does that sound good? When we know that what we just told them sounds great because we just made their life easier. So I love those kinds of questions. Give them a value. I can put both of your emails on the account so you both get those property alerts and you can easily see what's available. How does that sound? They're going to say, that's awesome. 9 times out of 10. I'd even go further and say 99% of the time, they're going to say, that sounds great. And then we've really created value for them, made the process simpler for them, and just been a friendly voice on the other end of that phone. Now, Marion has a specific kind of feedback here, which is awesome. So she had someone who registered with a fake name. She did call me when she found something, and I sold them a $625,000 condo, and I'm now selling their $1.3 million home. That's awesome. So Marion, tell us a little bit about how you handled that objection with the fake name. If there was anything special you did, because that's amazing, and I love that. So the person said that her name was Patty, and I'm also curious, Marion, just to know what the real name was. That's awesome, Marion. Way to go. I love that so much. So yeah, just because someone registered with a fake name doesn't mean they're never going to buy, doesn't mean that they're not willing to talk. It just means that maybe they've been burned with one too many bad phone calls with people who didn't care to get to know her situation and what she was looking for. Marion clearly provided great service to her, had a great phone call, and ended up getting 2 deals out of it. So I love that, Marion. Way to go. I love that so much. All right, so let's go and look at some more. So we've already kind of answered this one for you, Larry. I was just looking and I had to put my information in to see the houses. We already kind of dealt with that one with someone saying, I just wanted to see and I had to register. So let's see. You have the wrong number. I didn't sign up on your website. We hear that one a lot as well. So this is one that I think can sometimes come because we're saying something a little off in the opening line. So we don't want to say I'm calling because you signed up on my site, or, I called because you registered on my site. That can kind of pique people's little radars of, oh no, this is someone that, got my information from that site I registered on. So I don't like to say that. I also don't like to say things like, hi, this is Cayla from, Find All Homes in Atlanta, Georgia, GA, .biz, because no one's going to remember the name of your site. The websites that we give you here at CINC are optimized for SEO. They're optimized for web searches. They're not optimized to be told out loud on the phone. So when we say, you know, things like our website name, or we say things like registered or signed up, or our intro is just super crazy long, it gives people time to start formulating these objections in their head. So I think that you will often, or you will kind of lose hearing that objection if you can just change your opening line. Now, that being said, you may have some people who still come back to our opening line with that objection of, oh, well, actually, you know, I didn't sign up on a site. But it's pretty rare that you'll hear that one once you change your opening line, because in our opening line, we're asking them a question. And you guys are probably about to claw your computer screen out because I keep teasing this opening line, but haven't shared it yet. So we're going to get to it in just a moment, I promise. Now, Elisa shared, we're finding a lot of leads not keeping their appointments, either a phone appointment or in person. This is after the confirm the morning of the appointment. They remembered and they will be at the appointment held. Okay, so this one is difficult because we had a great conversation with someone, or at least we feel like we've had a great conversation with someone, and we set the appointment. Now, if you have been in a conversion day, which I know you have been, you know that one of the things that we share is to actually set an appointment with someone, you know, via email or via their calendar, and actually invite them to it and have them accept it while you're on the phone. So that's the first part. If you've never been to a conversion day, that's a really great tip. Going ahead and setting the appointment, you know, saying, yeah, are you free to meet during the week, or do you prefer weekends? Well, I prefer weekends. Awesome. I'm available Saturday at 10 in the morning or at 3 in the afternoon. Which works better for you? Well, actually noon would work better for me. Oh, that's awesome. I also have that available. So let's go ahead and put that down on the calendar. Speaking of, do you use a calendar, you know, to keep track of your appointments? And, you know, 99% of the people are going to say, yes, I do. Awesome. Confirm your email address for me. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this appointment over to you so you can accept it. So we're going to go ahead and invite them to that. Now, Elisa, if you're already doing that and you're confirming it, I also want to remind you of a little tip as well, that we like to remind people of appointments instead of confirming. So if you currently send kind of follow-up to remind people of appointments, either an email or a text, we want that kind of verbiage to be, I'm reminding you of our appointment for tomorrow at noon. Instead of, I'm confirming our appointment for noon. Confirming, somewhere in our brain, we think that the word confirm means it's still up in the air. Whereas our brain hears the word reminder, I'm reminding you of this appointment, and our brain thinks, okay, that's something that I've already confirmed and I need to be there. Now, I think it's also how you set the tone for the appointment on that phone call. So of course we don't want to keep them on the phone for 2 hours if we don't have to, but I think it's important to let them know that this is an important step in the home buying process. So even if I'm a year out, make it worth my time to meet with you. If I'm moving super, you know, more quickly, of course you want to make it worth my time to meet with you. So it's going to be something like this. You know, Cayla, when we meet together, I'm going to make sure that not only do I understand exactly what you're looking for, but I'm going to take the time to kind of walk you through the home buying process and just make sure that it's a really smooth kind of experience for you. So I'll be there to answer any questions that you have, and also just tell you what to expect, because over the next, insert their time frame. So, you know, over the next 8 months, there won't be any surprises and it'll be as smooth a ride as possible. How does that sound? That sounds great. Now, with that being said, I'm going to, you know, do some prep work for this. So if something does come up and you do need to move that appointment, just let me know, because I'll make sure that all of that information that we will be covering is ready for that new time. How does that sound to you? And they're going to say, yeah, that's great. So I think letting them know that, hey, I'm putting some work into this. It's going to be valuable to you because I'm here to be an advisor, and this helps me advise you better. And letting them know it's okay if you need to adjust it, but just let me know. That's another great tactic if someone says, well, I need to check in with my spouse before I set that appointment. again, saying that, well, let's go ahead and pencil something in. I'm going to be getting a lot ready for that. So I just want to go ahead and get started on all of that. But if we could go ahead and pencil that in, if you talk to your partner later today and they're not available during that time, just reach out to me and we'll reschedule. And that will kind of set that tone and make them, you know, have something to look forward to. So, hey, I'm not going to sit down and just badger you question after question. It's going to be something where we sit down and kind of map out what this process is going to look like for you. And you're welcome, Elisa. Thank you for that question. Now, another one that I had put up asking you guys if you, you know, had heard these often is someone saying, I already have an agent. Now, again, this is often something that doesn't come up if we use the right opening line. Oftentimes when someone says we already have an agent is because our opening line has been so long that they've had time to regroup and think of that lie. And I don't use the word lie, you know, lightly, but I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, buyers are liars and so are sellers. And it's because most of these objections that we hear are oftentimes not the truth. And it's not because they're mean-spirited. It's not because they don't like you. It's not because they're never going to buy a house. It's just because they know that the home buying process is long. And again, they've been burned by too many bad conversations with agents and other salespeople in the past. So when we hear someone say, I have an agent, I'd go on the record as saying 85% of the time it's not true. Oftentimes too, it's that they have worked with another agent in the past, but has that agent successfully followed up with them and stayed in touch with them? Do they still have a relationship? So you've got a couple different ways you can go when we hear, I already have an agent. But I'll tell you my favorite one is this. So I hear the lead say, well, I'm already working with an agent. Oh, okay, that's great. I'm just curious, how many agents did you interview before you decided to work with your current one? And they're going to say probably, well, I didn't interview anybody. Okay, I just asked that because I talk to a lot of people who go with the first agent that they talk to, and really they didn't look for someone that, you know, their personality really meshed with. So if you are open to, you know, talking to another agent, you know, about potentially working together, I'd love to throw my hat in the ring. And they may go ahead and say, oh, well, I'm really, you know, sold to my first person. And that's okay. We're going to talk about that in a second. But most of the time, they're going to be thinking in the back of their head, hey, I didn't think about asking around. I didn't think about interviewing people. Maybe I'm not working with the right person. So again, we're just being honest, but we're also kind of placing a little seed of doubt where maybe they hadn't considered that before. And then we can go into kind of just selling them on why we'd be a good fit. Now, another way to take that is someone says they already have an agent. Oh, that's great. You know, I've been in real estate in the Atlanta area for 11 years. I know a lot of the agents around here. Who are you working with? And if they can give you a name, chances are they're probably truly already in conversation with someone. At that point, you can say, oh, Andrea's a great agent. Have you already signed a buyer's agreement with her? And at that point, you know your MLS and your state regulations, and you know if you can go any further if someone says, yes, they've signed a buyer's agreement. If they say no, then that's when you can dive in again with, okay, well, before you settle with Andrea, did you interview other agents, or how many did you interview? Again, we want to ask open-ended questions instead of yes or no. So it would be, how many did you interview? And we'll go into that same thing again. If they say, oh, I'm working with someone over at ABC Realty, probably they don't have a relationship with someone. They couldn't even give you a name. A lot of times they'll blank and they'll just say, oh, I really can't remember their name. And then we get to launch into that other thing again. Oh, just curious, before you settled on that person, how many did you interview? And that's kind of my favorite way to deal with that, because again, we're being honest with them and we're just showing them that, hey, here's an opportunity that you maybe didn't consider. Maybe you're not working with the person that's the right fit for you. So let's see if I have any more that I have not covered yet. And I think that that is everything that everyone submitted. Thank you guys so much for sharing those. So let's go ahead and open up for role play. I had quite a few people who gave me some number ones earlier. I see Shane said he might role play. Taylor, Matthew wanted to role play. If you are still into role play, ooh, Larry did as well, and Michael. Awesome. We have a lot of brave people who are in here wanting to do some role play today. If you are still interested in getting on that role play, I want you to click the raise hand icon. If I see the hand raised beside your account, I will know that you are looking to do some role play with me. I have quite a few people. The first one I saw go up was Shane. So we're going to go ahead and Shane, I'm going to put you on, or take you off of mute, I should say, and get us going. So give me just one moment. All right, Shane, I have you off of mute and you are permitted to talk. Can you say something for me so we can make sure we can hear you? I'm going to try one more time. One more time.
How about now? You got me now?
Can you talk one more time, see if I can hear you?
Yeah, you got me now?
Oh, okay, there you are. Perfect.
Right. So I'm going to have my team member, Angie.
Angie. Awesome. Hi, Angie. How'd you get to be the lucky one?
Oh, I had my hand up here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being brave and jumping in. I will play a buyer.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and put up on the screen our opening line. So this is the opening line that I love that cuts down on those objections that we hear a lot. So it's just a quick introduction. So hi, this is Cayla from the home search site. I saw you were looking at homes over in Atlanta. Fill that in with whatever city you work in. And then we're going to ask, are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? Now, Angie, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know why I like that last line as it is?
Do I know why you like the 3 to 6 months or just browsing? I'm assuming you're putting a time frame on things.
Yeah, so they can either say, yeah, I'm looking to move in 6 months. Awesome. You know, how's your situation changing over the next 6 months? So in other words, why 6 months? They may say, no, I'm more like a year out for making a decision. Awesome. Why a year? But 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, yeah, I'm actually just looking right now. And we're going to get to say, awesome. Please continue to use the site to look for homes. I'm curious, though, what exactly are you looking for? And it just opens up that conversation for us to then have that nice, friendly, honest, open-ended, question-filled conversation.
Okie dokie.
So if you will, try this opening line. Whenever you're ready, just ring, ring. I'll know that you're giving me a call. I'll answer, and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Okay, ring, ring.
Hello?
Oh, hi. This is Angie calling from the home search site. I saw you were looking at homes in the Edmonton area. And I just wanted to find out, are you looking for a property in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing?
Really just looking at the moment.
Okay. What are you looking for? Maybe I can help you out with looking at so to narrow down your search.
I mean, really just kind of doing some research right now to see what's available in Edmonton.
Okay. Now, are you searching for like a single family home or maybe a condo?
More single family.
Okay, perfect. Now I know Edmonton is huge. Was there a specific area in the city you were kind of hoping to hone in on?
Kind of the west side.
Okay, perfect. Now, I just wanted to make sure I've got this right. Now, how many bedrooms are you looking for? Right now, you registered for 2. Is that the case, or are you hoping for maybe 3?
I actually didn't really register for any bedrooms.
Okay, so
you're doing great. Okay, so we're looking in the west side. You know, are you thinking more 3 or 4 bedrooms?
Okay, perfect. So are we looking for 3 or maybe 4 bedrooms?
I mean, it's just my husband and I, maybe 3.
Okay, perfect. And what kind of price range are you hoping to stay in? That'll help me whittle down the list here for you.
I really don't know. This is our first time buying.
Okay, perfect. And sorry, you said you were hoping to move What time frame? I couldn't catch that.
Well, we're currently living with family, so I mean, really just kind of looking for the right thing.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's a great way to save a down payment.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm kind of like at a loss.
Yeah. So one thing, you did an awesome job. So I'm giving you a round of applause from here in Atlanta. From there, we want to deal with what they're looking for, but also their motivation. So what I mean by motivation is, why now did I decide is it time for my husband and I to move? We're living with family. You had a great line that, it's a great way to save for a down payment, which is true. But now, why now? And why am I looking, in the west side of Edmonton? And I'm sorry if that's not a real kind of area. I had to
west. That's fine.
So you asked me some great questions. So when I threw up a little bit more of an objection of, hey, I'm really just looking, I said that second time. You asked me single family or condo, and then I said more single family. You narrowed it down to west side. And I'll tell you what I'd like you to do from there. So when I say, well, I'm looking more over on the west side of Edmonton. Oh, that's great. That's a great area. Why the west side? And we're going to see, am I looking to be close to a job? Am I looking because that's where my family lives and I want to remain close to them? Kind of just why, So, oh, that's a great area. Why the west side of Edmonton? And then I'm going to say, well, I work over there and I'd really like to have a short commute. Oh, that's great. I know traffic can be so bad in the mornings and the afternoons. How far are you currently driving to work? And then I'm going to give some sob story about how I'm in the car for, 2 hours a day. And then you're going to get to say, wow, 2 hours a day. So you're driving at least 10 hours a week, right? And I'm going to say, yeah. And you're going to be like, oh, that's crazy. That's such a long commute. If you could get over into West Edmonton, how close would you be to your office? And then I maybe will say, well, again, I'm making this up on the top of my head. I could be, probably more like 30 minutes in the car each day. Oh my gosh. So you could go from 2 hours in the car each day down to 30 minutes. That's crazy. And then I'd be like, yeah, it would be awesome. So now we really have part of my motivation, right? So now we know a little bit more about what I'm looking for. My area is important to me. Okay, so West Edmonton. So you said you're looking for a single family home. Tell me, are you looking for 3 or 4 bedrooms? And then I'm going to say, well, it's just my husband and I. So, probably 3. Okay, so 3 bedrooms. Why 3? And we're just honing down and asking a lot of why questions. So why that area? Why that many bedrooms? Why do you want that gourmet kitchen? Why do you want something that's a fixer-upper? So lots of why questions should be a part of your conversation. Perfect. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Kind of, again, thinking of the why questions. Do you know why we want so much to know about their motivation as opposed to just what they're looking for?
Well, a couple of reasons. One is to obviously refine the search, but I do want to build rapport with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. So more than just being a person that knows what I'm looking for, but knowing nothing about me personally, asking those why questions and really going for my motivation helps you do just that. It helps you start to build that rapport with me. So now you can say, wow, Cayla, if I can find you that home in West Edmonton that gets you closer to work, and it's in that perfect price point for you, what would you do with that extra time? Oh, I'd spend it with my husband. We love to cook dinner together and we never get to anymore. Or, I'd be able to actually get home in time to, clean up around the house and, pursue my hobby, which is, whatever. I want to be an author. I would have time to write my book. You get to know me on a personal level and you get to let me know that, hey, I hear you and I understand you and I'm going to help you accomplish that goal. And that's a really awesome way. It no longer feels like you're a stranger that met me because I put my phone number on your website, but you're just a real person, that I could get to know and could help me kind of through that process.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's some easy changes I can definitely make.
Yeah. And so I know it sounds like you've got a team over there listening. Are you guys currently role playing at all?
We started,
Big
yes.
ones.
Awesome. How often are you guys doing that?
This is the second time.
Woo! Hey, that's 2 more times than you could have done it. So I'm giving that a round of applause too.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, we really see that teams that role play at least once a week together, again, set the most appointments, have the most success. You guys are on the right track. If you're not on a team that's currently role playing, start it. If you're on a team that doesn't role play and you think that people aren't into it, find a role play partner. I really highly recommend that. If you're flying solo and you're not on a team right now at all, again, find a partner, either someone from another team, a friend, maybe that, works in another state, whatever it may be. Hit up our Facebook group and say, hey, Cayla told me on the role play webinar today that I could find someone to role play with here. It really does change things around and kind of just open up the room that you have to grow and really hone in and getting really well kind of acquainted to this opening line, dealing with objections, asking for the appointment, and all those important things. Awesome. Well, Angie, I think you did a really awesome job. Keep practicing on those why questions like we just kind of went through, but you really had a great tone. You sounded super positive. My other thing that I'll tell you is don't be afraid to leave a little silence. So when I took a second to start to talk, I think you got a little nervous, which we all tend to do, and just kind of wanted to fill that silence a little bit. So don't be afraid just to ask your question and kind of leave it open for them to respond. Sometimes they just need a quick second to kind of think on that question that you asked them.
Okay, sounds good.
But you did an awesome job. And again, thank you for volunteering. I enjoyed it. And I think we've got time for one more. So I'm going to see who the next person is. So thank you, Shane and Angie.
Thanks.
All right. So I have a quick question from Laura. What's the Facebook group called? If you own a CINC platform, you can look for CINC Owners Mastermind on Facebook. That is going to allow you to get into Mastermind with our other CINC owners. We also have the CINC users group. So if you search, I think, Commissions Inc. users and the groups on Facebook, you will be able to join that one. Just click to request to join. I'm actually the person who lets people in and out of that group. So I will see that and let you in. Now, we have a question from Brian I want to make sure I get to really quickly. Earlier, I mentioned adding a second email address to a lead. How is that done? That's an awesome question. So what you'll want to do is click their name to open up their lead profile details. And in the info tab, so your first one that you usually open up to is the notes and activities tab. So click over into the info tab and go to right below the email address. You'll see an empty slot for secondary contact email. And if you just click in that little area, you can type that second email address in. That automatically copies them on any email that's sent from the platform. So that is how you can add that second one in. Now, Matthew sent in a question. My broker likes to use the actual address they used rather than say homes in the area. Thoughts on that? I'm going to respectfully disagree with your broker. I'm not saying that you wouldn't ever have success with that, but I think it can feel a little big brother. A lot of times when people register on the site, they don't recognize or realize that we are tracking all of that information. They don't always necessarily see that or understand or know that when they do these actions on the site, that's going to be tracked. So when we call someone and we start with that, again, it can feel like they're being watched a little bit, and it can kind of just create a state of, feeling like I didn't sign up for someone to know everything that I looked at. So I like to just err on the side of caution. And when I say play dumb, I don't mean sound stupid. I mean, just ask questions about what they're looking for. Now, on the flip side, Matthew, if someone does ever register and put an inquiry in on a house, I think it's okay to reference it then if they make that kind of like hard inquiry on the home. But if they just came in, looked at homes, and you're giving them a call like normal, I prefer just to use this opening line instead. So if you did miss the opening line from before, it's what is on the screen right here. So Laura, right here on the screen, This is Cayla from the home search site. So again, tonality is so important, so we want to be super friendly. Hi, this is Cayla calling from the home search site. I saw you're looking at homes over in Atlanta. Are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? And just like I talked about with Angie, we want to make sure that we deal with that kind of answer. So if we're, yeah, well, probably not the next 6 months, but maybe more like in a year. Oh, that's awesome. How's your situation changing over the next year? And we're going to go ahead and let them answer that question. I love that question of how's your situation changing over that time frame, because why a year? And what we find is that a lot of times people think that the process might take that long, when in actuality it really doesn't. Again, most of the time though, people are going to say, I'm just browsing. And I love to say, awesome, please continue to use the site to look at available homes. I'm curious though, what are you looking for? And opening it up to the conversation that way. Now you may hear some objections like we talked about earlier, which is absolutely fine. You guys have a little bit of a better handle on how to go with those objections. But of course, if someone says, well, I'm really looking for, my first home, I'm currently renting. Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations. Where are you renting right now? What's your current space like? What are you hoping to change when you get into this new space? And we're asking lots of questions to figure out more about their situation. Now, Laura, I see your question for Facebook. Commissions Inc. for Agents is our is our mobile app where you can actually work your leads from your phone. Go to Facebook and just search Commissions Inc. users or CINC users. And if I don't see your request come in by the end of today, I'll look for you and see if I can put you in the group myself. Awesome. Now, I was hoping we were going to have time for one more role play, but our hour is actually up. It goes by so quickly every time. I hate that we could not get to more role plays, but know that this webinar does happen every other Monday. So we'll be off next Monday and back on the following. And I want to try to answer just a couple more questions before we end. So the question from Brian, if we add a second email address to the lead, do we need to send them the welcome email to get them started, or will they just get the emails and not need a username or password? Great question, Brian. They do not need a username or password. All they need, or actually they don't need anything, they'll just start to get those property alerts. Larry, thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed yourself and said this was a great call. I happen to think so too. Larry, I will look for you for the group too. Thank you so much. Again, I really thank everyone for joining me today. If you want a kind of copy of this so you can share it with your team, or just you can go and refer back to it and catch up with the opening line or any of the objection handling skills we talked about, please email me. I'm going to give you my personal email address. It's Cayla.Priest@cincpro.com. So I'm going to actually type it into the chat because my name is spelled with a C. Thank my mom for spelling it a little weird. So Cayla, Cayla.Priest, Priest @cincpro.com. It is in the chat if you'd like to grab it. Please feel free to email me if you would like a copy of this. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Marion and Grace. I appreciate everyone's time. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Hope you guys have awesome calls for the rest of the week. And if you need anything else, know that you can always give us a call on tech support. Call your success partners. Let us know because we are here to make sure you are as successful as possible. Thank you, Gina, for your time as well. You're very welcome. Have a great rest of the day, everybody, and see you in a couple of weeks for our next one.